What's up, everybody? Rob Gill, Epic Insurance Services. We are in the hallowed halls. And let me tell you something. I grew up in a blue-collar background, and the question is, how do rich people think differently than poor people? What I've noticed a lot when it comes to understanding how the rich think, the biggest thing that there's many things that they're really good at, but one thing in particular that stands out is the ability to scale and replace themselves, right? So if somebody is gonna do an investment over here as an individual person, that time is all dedicated towards that single investment or that single strategy. However, if they are going to take a mindset into that investment and then replace themselves by training their replacement so they could work on the 10 other investment strategies, that is one of the things that rich people do differently than poor people. That is how they think. They think on how they could operate, replace, and scale themselves. You know, so some of the things that you're gonna learn here with us, because once again, I'll say it again, we went from 8 to 150 meetings a month, not Rob Gill, but because we brought on team members, trained, practiced, drilled, and rehearsed into an overall strategy by merging ecosystems. And as a result of it, the relationships we brought in were able to magnify and allow all of our planners and or insurance agents and or trust advisors were able to now take on 10, 20, 30 meetings themselves, multiply that by 8 people. Now all of a sudden you're scaling your business through replacing yourself. You know, one of the things that I notice about rich people and how they scale and replace, I have a client of mine who's a dear friend, and he happens to own 240 pieces of real estate while at the same time owning a transportation company that employs over 50 people. So this gentleman is an economy in and of himself, because not only does he give people jobs, but he also buys real estate and has people live in his properties that otherwise wouldn't be able to live somewhere, because he doesn't require credit checks. He ties it more into a bigger picture that allows people to live in these houses, and these are in 3 different states. So when I look at how he thinks, he's always thinking about how he can continually innovate and expand. And by the way, the bank calls him when they actually have an extra $1 million so he can go buy property with it. Conversely, where I grew up, and I love everybody that I grew up with and where I grew up with, and the mindset was blue collar, the mindset was get a job, get a pension. And unfortunately, in that world where, I'm not gonna say it's a poor mindset, but it's definitely a fixed mindset, and in that space, there becomes a level of becoming an economic slave and just living paycheck to paycheck, which is not how the rich believe. And you know, a rich person not only thinks like an owner, but they are an owner, right? A poor person doesn't think like an owner. Now, people that do come from those humble beginnings learn how to make the transformation from a renter mindset to an owner mindset, renter being term insurance, owner being whole life insurance, tying into this whole strategy. Just understand that at the end of the day, the rich person does not cling to status quo. They don't have a default no. They don't let fear get in the way of their decision making. As a matter of fact, when they feel that urge of fear, they turn on their peak performance strategy, change their story, and get into the right state. And then because of that, they're able to explode through the ceiling of complexity. You know, for me, I had been in the business for a good 15 years, and I was at a ceiling. I was at my own default no, where I was really only having 8 to 10 meetings a month because I was only working on myself. I was working in the business. And it wasn't until I began to surround myself with proper teachers, models that have been there and done that I began to listen, avoid my default no, even when it still creeps up onto me to this day, but surround myself with the proper people that taught me how to work on my business. And that's where the real explosion began. And that's when we went from 8 to 150 meetings a month. And that's where the scalability, that's where the ownership mindset came in, because we worked on our business. So one of the things we did in the next phase, after going from 8 to 150 meetings per month, new sales meetings, as I stand here shooting this video, we are investing in a YouTube team to take our business to the next level and shooting out these videos to give you as much content as we can give you. And at the same time, become great educators and share with you our experience, strength, and hope. We are here to serve content and bring content every day. And if you want to learn more from our team and learn exactly how the rich people think compared to how poor people think, please subscribe below, and somebody on the team will certainly reach out to you and take you through the success process. And by the way, somebody once told me, If you change your style up, watch the money pile up.